hope you're doing well. Welcome back to another video. This is my quarter 3 reading wrap up freak out tag thing. I haven't done any of like the stats and stuff yet because that's all mostly on my laptop and my reading journal, which I don't currently have with me because I'm just down in London for a few days. But I will put all that content in now. Hey, so it's a few days later and I'm back in my uni room, and I thought I'd just quickly go through the statty part of this video. The goals for the quarter 3, which I hadn't actually shared with you before, but it was to read 80 physical books from my pre-2024 TBR. So basically, of the physical books I read, 80% were meant to be from the 2023 or beyond beforehand TBR. So not bought this year, basically. I did not meet that. I read 60% pre and 40% of the books were from this year, so nope. Get to 100 books. Yes, I got to 105 books by the end of September, so pat on the back, good for me. Net 15 books hauled, which is haul minus unhaul. No, I hauled 61 books and I unhauled 0, so the net is 61. And finally, read 6 of 24 of my 24 of 2024 list. No, I read 2. What can you do? And I just want to quickly show you my Q4 ones because I've just wrote them down now. Is to read 70% of the physical books read for my pre-2024 TBR. So again, of the physical books I read in this quarter, 70% of them I want to have been bought before 2024. Read 6 books for the whole quarter. That is at least 2 a month. I don't want to put any pressure on me to read more, and I want to actually like get this done because reading is not going to be my priority anymore. It is uni work, so I just thought I'd set that low. I've already got to my 100, which I wanted to get to by the end of the year, and I've already got there, so everything's just a bonus now, but I still want to be at least reading and at least 2 a month, so let's see if I can do that. Net 15 books hauled again, so that's the haul minus the unhaul. I've already hauled 8 books in October, but I bought a book with me that I'm going to give to my sister, so it's going to be one unhaul at least. Let's just see what else I buy or get rid of. I don't think I'm probably going to be buying that much because I haven't got that much space. That's like my thing up there. And finally is read 4 of my 24 or 2024 list, which would get me to my overall goal that I wanted to at least get to is half of them, so 12 in total. If I get to them, I only brought 2 with me. I might go back and get some more, I might like listen to them or whatever, but let's just see if I can do that. I probably won't, but we shall see. And then the year at a glance page, I'll just go through each month and the quarterly average / total. So in July I read 9 books, August 13, September 7 for 29 for the quarter. Pages was 2096, 2,256 and 1,056 for 5,408 total. Hours 49.3, 11.7 and 28.72 for 89.72. For my star rating average, July was 3.833, at August 3.538 and September 4. So around very similar basically, and the average of the whole quarter was 3.79, which is just a little bit better than quarter 2 and a little bit better than quarter 1. So getting a bit better, but it's still staying average-ish. For the core pile average, it was 7.24 for July, 6.769 for August and 7.369 for September, for 7.126, which again is the highest average for the quarter of quarter 3 compared to Q2 and Q1. So it's getting a bit better. For 5 stars, I had 1 in August and 1 in September, for 2 and 8 for the whole year, which isn't very good. But this quarter, I do feel there has been quite a few more that have stuck with me, and some more like 4.75 star ratings. So I'm happy about that, and less like lower ones. So yeah. And DNFs only had the 1 in July, which was one that was right at the beginning of the month. For hauling, very bad. July was 22, August was 31, and September was 8. August was my second highest month of hauling books. It was just a month full of stress, a lot of stress in that month. And buying books makes me happy, so that's why I did it. But yeah, no, I don't think I really have anything else to show you. And go back to past me. See ya. But now this is the freak out tag portion of this video that I've been doing for the quarters of the year. So it's basically just on content from July, August and September. And the first question is, what is the best book I've read? I've just got 4 that I would say have been the best of the quarter. I'll just give you a little rundown on them. Sunburn by Chloe Michelle Howarth. This is a really well written novel about the main character Lucy growing up and coming of age and coming of herself in 1990s small town Ireland, and understanding her lesbian identity and how this is something that isn't really possible in the small town she's from, and the way that like society just like puts pressure on you, and girls just grow up to become their mothers basically, and all the boys grow up to become their fathers, and the expectations put on you, and how if you want to, you know, not live this normal life, the things that you have to sort of give up in a sense. And yeah, it was a really well told portrayal of her story, and I would love to read more by her. So I'm definitely going to be on the lookout. So yeah, I would really recommend this. Also, let me give a little shout out to Bone by Yesterday Ward. It's a poetry collection. Once again, I like underlined and like starred a lot in this. Really good, just about sort of like her life growing up as a black queer woman in like the north of England, and her heritage and her identity, and just like her family, and a lot of like things. It's sort of memoir-esque in a way, like they're very personal, but yeah, and about like mental illness and just a lot. So yeah, I would really recommend giving this a read. Last year I did read her poetry memoir The Terrible. I think I possibly liked that a little bit more, that I gave 5 stars. This I'm not 100% sure, possibly a 4.75 or maybe the 5 as well. Like, it is deserving of it really, so I probably will do it. And it's one I do want to go back to and give another read, and like truly appreciate what was written in here, because this was a book that I was trying to read quickly before going up to Birmingham, where I'm at uni now, and I maybe didn't give it its due, but would so recommend and want to read this again. And then also 2 books that was in the same video and have a similar theme, and I will talk maybe a little bit more about them again after. But The Last Witch of Scotland, Philip Paris. I absolutely love this book. It's following Ayla, who gets disfigured in a fire, and her mother Janet moved to like a small town in the Hebrides of Scotland, and Janet is having early onset dementia, and they're just like these lovely characters just trying to make a life, and like being with all the other people in the town and things, and selling their merchandises, and they befriend this group of like traveling like entertainers, and they are sort of made to feel othered and ostracized by the community by the introduction of this temporary like priest, and so happens, and they are the last women or people to be accused of being witches in Scotland and the UK as a whole. And it just follows sort of like their journey in a way, and it gives voice to these two women from history, and I absolutely loved it. Maybe it's not like the perfect book, and it did drag it a few times and stuff, but it just held such like a strong impact on me and held my heart, and yeah, it was just very hard to just read or well listen to this book without getting quite emotional. Also, I was going through a lot at the time when I was listening to it, and I think maybe that combined with it to make it such an impactful reading experience, and why it is one of the best books I've read this quarter. But on the whole, would totally recommend it. And yeah, and then also similarly is Hex by Jenny Fagan. This is a really slim book, but it really does pack a punch. This is following a woman, Iris, that travels back in some sense to the 1500s, where she meets with Galis Duncan, who was a young woman that was accused of being a witch and murdered in the Scotland during like one of the early trials, and it's just sort of about her trial and what was done to her, and how in the 2020s similar things are still happening to women, and there's not really the justice there, and it just made me feel really angry and sick and upset, and was just again packed a punch, and I think this is probably the best of the quarter, so yeah, would totally recommend giving this a read. Question 2 is, what is the best sequel I've read this quarter? And I'd probably have to say More Days at the Morisaki Bookshop by Satoshi Agasawa, which is translated from Japanese by Eric Ozawa. Yeah, I just really enjoyed this book. I gave it the same rating, I think 4.25 as the previous installment. I don't know if it's a series or just a duology, but it's just a very comforting, and it talks about like this theme of like home and like where is home, and being like comfortable with people, and just like talking about people in a way in this the Jimbocho, the like little like book area of Tokyo, and these shops and these characters, and it just like brings it to life. And this has like a death scene in this book, and the way it like handles grief and how different people experience it. Really recommend giving this a read, and I would love to read more by him, so yeah. Question 3 is a new release that I really want to get to. I did these answers before I had it in my possession, but like it is a very new release as well. But the one I probably want to read the most is Intermezzo by Sally Rooney. It only just came out. It was delivered to me like I think like 2 days after I left for Birmingham, so I didn't have it for like 3 weeks or something, but I've just come back for a few days, and I was like kept seeing it in shops and stuff. I was like, I really want to get it so badly, but I already have a copy at home, just wait and see. But yeah, now I do have it in my physical possession. I do really badly want to get to this, so hopefully I will, but quite a few times I say that about books that I've just got, but I don't get to them for a while, but that's just what my brain does. But anyway, that is the answer to this question. A new release that I badly want to get to. I don't fully know what it's about. I think it's about like two brothers, and one of them's like a chess prostitute or something, or like just I think they handle a grief in the family, and it's just about like them, and it's just, that's just what she talks about, like humanity and people and stuff. So yeah. The question 4 is, what is a book that I haven't read yet but I want to get to? And for this question, throughout the other 2 tags, I've been choosing books that have been from my 2024 list that I badly want to get to within the next quarter, and I'm going to pick 2 books that I have brought up to Birmingham with me, so I don't technically have them with me right now, but they're The Picture of Dorian Gray by Oscar Wilde and You Exist Too Much by Zaina Arfat. They fulfilled a prompt for Supercopoly, which I have not been doing, and it is like the 17th I think now of October, but I haven't been really reading at all this month, but I do want to actually try and fulfill those prompts. Also, Dorian Gray is sort of like a gothic, sort of like Halloween-y-esque book that I think will fit this season, and You Exist Too Much, I really want to read about her story, so hopefully I get to them, even though I have not fulfilled the ones that I've said I wanted to read in previous versions of this video. But we shall just see, I guess, what happens. I don't know. Question 5 is, what is an anticipated release for the next quarter? I'd probably say 2 books that are similar in some sense because they're related to TV shows or characters. Ghost Beyond the Grave, I think it's called. Earlier in the year I read Ghost, the like compendium, and I loved that. I love the show. I've been recently rewatching it because I've just been feeling a bit and it makes me happy. I love being within their company and exploring their lives, and they've just have such a special place in my heart. So I'd love to read more about like how the show came to be, and I guess it was explore more about them as well. So that book, and also The World According to Kunk, I think it's called, which is the new book by Philomena Kunk or Diane Morgan. Earlier in the year I read her like encyclopedia book, and I loved it. She's just like so funny. It's just like a natural wit, and I just think like the fact that she thinks that she's saying the absolute truth just makes it that much more funny. And yeah, I just think these are two books that will probably make me feel joyful, and yeah, I would love to read them. So let's see if I possibly get them. I don't know. I didn't realise this question was this far down the list. I thought it was higher up. But what is the worst book I've read? And I've got two I'll probably say. I think maybe Witch by Rebecca Tamas. I'm probably going to give this, I'm thinking, 2 stars. It's a poetry collection. It's just very, very like incomprehensible, a lot of what is said in this. And maybe it's just like me not getting the undercurrent meanings or whatever. But it was just very like lost me. But yeah, I guess if you're more versed in poetry, maybe you can get more out of it. But yeah, I really wanted to read this and like it so much. But yeah, it sort of has like spell poems and also like witch so and so, which I read it as going from like the times of the trials up until present day, and how like femininity and women are sort of viewed in some sense like that. But it wasn't really that good. But yeah, and also Mammoth by Eva Balthazar is translated from Catalan by Julia Sanchez. I started underlining things in here, and I did think it started very, very strong about this woman that wants to sort of like escape Barcelona, escape the busyness, and escape sort of life in some sense, and like live a more like idyllic life in the countryside. But then like this whole issue with like cat murder and animal cruelty and animal death just got to me too much. I was just, no, disgusting. Also, she's sort of a little bit predatory in a way, and I just didn't really care for it at all, and it just made me irritated and sick and angry in a way. And yeah, I would not recommend this in the slightest. Probably 1.75 or 2 stars. Yeah, did not like that book. But then we have what is the most disappointing read, and it's probably the second one in that triptych of books, Boulder by Balthazar, translated from Catalan by Julia Sanchez. I just feel like the more I think about this book, the more it irritates me, and the fact that this sort of like relationship is apparently so like awe-inspiring. It's like she's so in love with her, but like I didn't really get that from the book, and it just kind of annoyed me, the things that like they didn't say and the things they didn't do and the conversations that weren't had, and the things that like she could have left really, and like I didn't really know why she was saying, because like it didn't really seem like she was so awe-stricken by her. But yeah, I don't really care about telling you the story because it irritated me a bit. But that, and also probably Caledonian Road by Andrew O'Hagan, because 2022 I think it was, I read Mayflies by him, and I did really enjoy this, and I thought I was gonna love this because like, okay, it is very well written, it's well researched, it's well, you know, discussed what goes on in this book. It is massive, it's like 650 something pages, I think. It did not need to be that long at all. It is, I would say, overwritten, and it just sort of bored me and irritated me at times as well, and I just didn't really totally enjoy it. It's not terrible. I think I gave it 3.5 stars, so like it's fine, and I feel like if it's the content that is something that you want to sort of get stuck into, then I would recommend it for that. But for me personally, it was just sort of about like 2 aspects of society that I didn't really want to read about, and yeah, but like it does do its job well. I just didn't like the job it was doing, if that makes any sense. But yeah, I'd probably say those for disappointed reads. Next is what is the biggest surprise, and I undoubtedly would have to say Someone You Can Build a Nest In by John Wiswell. I absolutely adored this book. I loved it so much. Like, this is like a horror fantasy sort of romancy sort of book, a little bit cozy, and like those things don't really appeal to me at all. And like, in a way, the story, but just the way he like wrote these characters, and it being from the perspective of like the monster in a way, Shisheshan, and the way she's sort of like trying to understand humanity and like learn the way humans talk and do things and stuff and act. It sort of uncovers the monstrosities and things that are within humans and how they're in a way the real monsters. And just like the relationship in here, and just the characters, and like what is sort of discussed and said, it's just really cute. And yeah, I ended up really loving this book. It's not amazing, I don't think, and I wouldn't say it's a full-blown 5-star, but it is a book that I did really enjoy, and I would love to read more by him. Yeah, so it was just very comforting and very surprising. So this is possibly going to take the top spot when I do my book awards, just because I didn't know I was going to love this as much as I did, because I haven't really read anything really like this, or ones that I haven't really cared for, but this was really good. Next is who is a new favorite author, and before I was only doing it if I had like read multiple books by them, but I think it's meant to be like a debut or a new to you author, and two that really stuck out to me and I would love to read more by them are Jenny Fagan and Chloe Michelle Howarth, from these two books. And I do think that like they can grow for them, and like, yeah, I want to read more by these two authors badly, so I will be definitely on the lookout. Next question is, who is my newest fictional crush? I didn't really ever get them, but I think maybe like a standout of like who I would like to be with, maybe, I would have to say Jack from The Last Witch of Scotland by Philip Paris. I think I sort of forgot his name now. He is like one of the main people in the traveling like entertainment act, and the way he befriends Ayla and Janet, and he's just such a lovely person, and like he's just written like very nicely as well. And I just love his personality and other aspects, and I would just crush, yeah. That's all I have to say. Next is who's my newest favourite fictional character, and I think quite possibly it's Shisheshan from Someone You Can Build a Nest by John Wiswell. She is the shape-shifting monster creature in the book, and everyone's sort of like afraid of her and things. And like, obviously she is like, she eats humans and she has done some very bad things, but she has nuance, she has ups and downs, she has a learning experience, and yeah, I loved her. I loved her. I just wanted to like know so much more about her and like the way things worked as well, and yeah, I think possibly I would say her. Also, Homily is just adorable. Both of them, Homily and Shisheshan, I can't really, I have to say, because they're like, they're the main characters of this book, and I think I'd have to say both of them. So yeah. Question 12 is, what is a book that TikTok made me read and I regretted it? Undoubtedly, I'd probably have to say Boulder. It's doing the rounds on TikTok, and other people have, you know, loved it and have been totally enthralled by it, and also like Permafrost, which is the first one, and Mammoth as well recently. A lot of people have loved this triptych, but yeah, no, not really for me. It definitely fell flat, and as I said, the more I think about this book, the more I'm irritated by it, and the more I'm irritated I read it, and even more so learning about the like enjoyment and praise Mammoth was getting, and why I picked that one up, thinking that it was maybe gonna, you know, like the series could go like okay, nah, oh good again, but it went down like that. It kind of went like Permafrost is like here like a 4-ish, and then Boulder's like a 3-ish, maybe 2.5-ish actually, and then Mammoth's like there, like is sort of off the scale now. Like that section of ratings really is a big section, and they went down. I don't know what I'm talking about anymore, but yeah, that regret reading it majorly so. Question 13 is what is a book that made me cry, and it's 3 books from my witch adjacent books. Hex by Jenny Fagan, A Kind of Spark by Elle McNull, and The Last Witch of Scotland by Philip Paris. I hope I'm saying his name right. I might have got that wrong again, but yeah, all of these just made me so emotional, especially The Last Witch. I was remember I was sort of trying to sort out accommodation, all the stress that came with that, and I was listening to it in the bath, and I got out and I was literally crying for like a solid like 20 minutes, just thinking about the lives of these women and the things that happened to them and the things that, you know, they went through purely because they were othered and were different and were women, the crux of it, and that is shared in both of the, just because she's a woman and young, and in A Kind of Spark because also like people that were autistic but didn't really have the word for it then, or other things that like made them not understand fully what was happening and society, and for that reason they were ostracized and the othering of people, I guess. And yeah, all 3 of these books just really hit me hard and made me very emotional and made me shed quite a lot of tears, this one in public, so thank you for that, Jenny. On a lighter note, the next question is what is a book that made me happy, and I was saying about it earlier, Ghost, which is written by the cast members. I always forget what their like group is called. I think it's like They're There or something, but they were previously known as the 6 Idiots, but by these people that are like the cast of the series. Yeah, like it just made me really happy just because being more again in their lives and just understanding more about them, and like how, like I said before, they just hold such a special place to me. So yeah, this one definitely made me very happy. It was just like a fun time that was just away from some of the other books I was reading, I guess. Also the Cherry Magic manga series by Yu Toyota. This is translated from Japanese by Taylor Engel, I want to say. Yep. You've got volume 1, 2 and 3. This is about a man that turns 30 and he's still a virgin, so he gets the ability to read other people's minds if he touches them, and he learns that like the cute co-worker fancies him, but this is the first time he's really ever experienced anything like this. So it's just him trying to like navigate this, and also like the farces in a way, because like he can read the other guy's mind, but obviously he doesn't know that, and it's just sort of like trying to uncover this as well, and it's just really cute and fun. And I'm still waiting for things like, I'm usually not someone that wants, you know, the ... scenes, but I'm kind of waiting for it. Like I'm anticipating them, but yeah, I do want to get back into this series. I just haven't bought any yet, so yeah. And also it's just nice that they're like older, because a lot of like BL mangas are like younger guys, like teens and 20s, so just like being a little bit more older, a bit more mature, is something that I appreciate, and would love to read more something similar. So yep. And also finally, I've said it before, just like how just like I just loved it so much in a way, and just like the way it, like, you know, it was just very fun. Is Someone You Can Build a Nest In by John Wiswell. Yeah, just really enjoyable, and I just loved like the reading experience, I guess, of this book. And ultimately is what is the most beautiful book that I bought in the 3rd quarter, and I've got 2 More Days at the Morrisaki Bookshop. It's very similar to the first one, and that won the most beautiful book of last year in our book awards, and this is probably gonna win this year's. It might not, it depends what else I read, or maybe have read, but yeah, I just think this is such a beautiful cover, and I absolutely love it. I bought and read it in the same like week, I think, actually. So yeah, definitely this, but also a book that I don't currently have with me, because it's in Birmingham, so I took it up with me because I want to read it soon, is Weird Table Because by Kerry Andrew. I just think just like the simplicity of it and like the look of this cover just is like really, really like pretty, and yeah, I don't know, just like the things it brings out and like the story it's going to be telling as well just looks great. So that, and then that swiftly moves me on to the last question I bought in the third quarter I want to read next quarter, and that is one of those books. Also we have Evenings and Weekends by Ocean McKenna, The Betrayal of Thomas True by AJ West, and Bury Your Gaze by Chuck Tingle. These are all up in Birmingham with me, because they're ones that I bought that I wanted to read soon, so hopefully I do that. So I don't know what I'm talking about, but yeah, I'm just super excited about all of them, and I want to read them, so that's why I brought them with me. I don't even know what I'm talking about anymore, but anyway, I will go for now because I need to do the other clip that you've already seen. So yeah, so I hope you enjoyed today's video, and I'm going to be doing this again for the fourth quarter, but I probably won't be answering all the questions because they won't really be needed, but we shall see. Also, the next one is probably going to be a lot less to talk about, or more like pinpoint, because I haven't been reading, like, I don't think I've read like anything much at all since I moved up. So yeah, anyway, have a nice morning, even like wherever you are in the world, and I shall see you very soon. Bye.